Gaza has changed everything. The genocide there is a genocide made in America, and people can see it. The empire has never been this exposed. From the moment we're born, we're told the United States represents freedom, democracy, and human rights. All that is American as apple pie, except it's a lie. Anywhere hope springs up, the United States will be not far behind to try and extinguish that hope. How can you think that the United States isn't an empire? It has a military budget, which is the same as the next 10 countries combined. It has 750 bases in every corner of the globe. In Britain, we are completely controlled by the United States. We have 12,000 troops across 11 so-called RAF bases, which are actually American bases. And we, the British people, are not allowed to know anything that goes on those US bases in Britain. I tried to request information from the British government about whether the US was using its sites in Britain to transfer weapons to Israel for their genocide in Gaza, and was told, we don't comment on allies' actions within Britain. An amazing black hole in British democracy and transparency. But that is because we are a vassal state of the United States. The Roman Empire, the Mongol Empire, the British Empire, none of them came close to having the reach and power of the American Empire today. The United States has never not been an empire. From the moment the British colonists set up Jamestown in 1607, up till now, they've been expanding. Initially, it was expanding westwards to cleanse what became the national territory, wiping out the Native Americans, putting them onto reservations, tricking them to sign treaties which deprived them of their land and resources. And then in 1890, the internal frontier was closed. Soon after, the Spanish-American War started, after which the Americans took on a number of Spanish imperial possessions, and that's when the American Empire globally started. Part of the reason that the American Empire is hard to see is it doesn't operate like historical empires. It does have some formal colonies, but it doesn't have loads. It's not like the British Empire. What it operates is an open door empire, where if a government does not allow US corporate and financial interests to penetrate their market in exactly the way they want, they'll come in and take them out, either through a war or through subterfuge done by their vast intelligence apparatus. We've seen this countless times throughout history, from the coup against Iranian democracy in 1953, to the coup against Chilean democracy in 1973, to the attempted coup against Venezuelan democracy in 2002, to the successful coup against Bolivian democracy in 2019. History is littered with examples of leaders who try to give the resources of their countries back to the people, and the United States and its allies come in and take them out. When the Soviet Union was defeated, the new war was the war on drugs. And actually, the war on drugs was just a way for the United States to have another excuse to station a military personnel in Latin America and other places in East Asia. In somewhere like Bolivia, when Evo Morales kicked out the DEA, production of coca went right down. The drug war has nothing to do with drugs. It's about enforcing US imperial control. And that's the case to today. After that, we had the war on terror, where Islamic terrorism was the enemy of the day. And then we have Putin, and now we have China. You're sold all these new enemies. But the point is not to vanquish the enemy. The point is we have to have an enemy to justify our increased control and penetration of the globe. We're constantly told to be scared of China and its rise to superpower status. I'm not saying China's spreading its power around the world for altruistic purposes. It is an imperial power, but it has a different way of going about things than the Americans. It does not invade countries which don't do what they're told. It does not have an archipelago of bases around the world. In fact, it only has one overseas base in Djibouti. The brutal US and UK-backed war in Yemen, which created the world's worst humanitarian crisis, was promptly brought to a close when the Chinese got involved. And look at how they brought Saudi Arabia and Iran, two sworn enemies, to the negotiating table and successfully got them to sign peace accords. That goes against everything we're told about how the world works. We're told it's the United States that is the great peacemaker. It's the United States that is a neutral arbiter, and it's the United States that wants to spread peace and democracy. It's the opposite of the truth. The United States does not apply any values, any principles to its overseas conduct. The only principle it worships is control and power. But the American empire is failing. Look at Colombia. For decades, it was called the Israel of Latin America, the most heavily controlled US satellite state in Latin America. It recently elected its first ever socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who has been one of the most vocal supporters for Palestine and against the genocide in Gaza.
Hoy tenemos 20,000 niños y niñas asesinados bajo las bombas, y los presidentes de los países de la destrucción humana se ríen en estos pasillos, con ayuda del poder de comunicación de los medios mundiales que hoy están en propiedad de los grandes capitales. El control de la humanidad sobre la base de la barbarie está en construcción, y su demostración es Gaza, el Líbano. Cuando muera Gaza, morirá la humanidad toda.
That shows that the US does not have the control it once had. Once upon a time, they would have destroyed Petro before he got into power. Petro is a dedicated environmentalist who has made expanding healthcare to the poorest his signature issue. This is what the empire hates. They do not want to see power taken away from the small elite which does their bidding in that country. Don't get me wrong, American ideals are great. I just wished the American government lived up to them. And the point is, the American people themselves are lied to continually about what their government does. And the American people have a long history of standing on the side of justice against some of the awful crimes their government has committed. Look at the Vietnam War in the 60s and 70s. Americans very quickly can become animated about what their government is doing and try to stop it. And there are mechanisms within the United States for them to do it. But there is an imperial elite which runs Washington, and it runs it through the Democrats and it runs it through the Republicans. Those parties are parties of the empire. The people living up to noble American ideals of democracy and justice are the student protesters sweeping campuses in the United States. They are standing up to say, we do not want a government which supports genocide, which supports the obliteration of a people. Gaza has changed everything. The empire has never been this exposed. The media which covers for it has never been this exposed. The door is now ajar. We have to kick it in. These are just some of the areas covered in my new book, The Racket, A Rogue Reporter vs. the US Empire, which is an account of all the reporting I did for the Financial Times in Washington, New York, and around the world on how the US empire operates. So if you want a genuinely independent media which takes on these big issues which the corporate media and mainstream media don't cover, join Double Down News on Patreon. It's important.
Gone cold, I'm wondering why. Got out of bed alone. Morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see at all. Even if I could, it'll all be gray. But your picture on my wall, it reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Too much last night, got bills to pay. My head just feels in pain. I missed the bus and they'll be held today. I'm late for work again. Even if I'm there, they'll all imply that I might not last the day. And then you call me and it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I want to thank you for giving me the best day. To be with you is having the best day of my life. Push the door. Soaking through and through. Then you handed me a towel, and all I see is you. And even if my house falls down now, I wouldn't have a clue, because you're near me. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day.
This is the most important election of our lifetime. The stakes are high.
To be a part of the most important election of our lifetime.
In the most important election of a lifetime where everything that you care about is on the line.
This is the single most important election any of you in this room will ever have voted on.
That's why this election could not be more important. This election is the most important election of our lifetime.
It's not an exaggeration to suggest that this is the most important election anyone in this room will ever participate in.
I can't think of a time in my lifetime when this country has faced a more important election.
Now, I know politicians always come out and say this is the most important election. Well, this time we're telling you the truth.
This is the most important election in our lifetimes.
When we vote in this election, we'll be deciding what kind of country we want to live in.
I really believe it's the most important election of our lifetimes because we've never had a clearer choice. There are only now 7 days left in the most important election of our lifetimes. Voice is important, it matters, and this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime.
Hyperbole. This election is bigger than politics. This is the most important election you have ever voted in, no matter how old or young you are.
The real reason I came down to Miami, because this Tuesday might be the most important election of our lifetime. Politicians will always say that, but this time it's actually true.
This is a national emergency of our moral values. That's why this is the most important election of our lifetime. This is a moral reckoning as much as anything. This is clearly the most important election in the modern history of this country. And Joe Biden, you have a human being who is empathetic.
3 days until the most important election of our lifetimes. And that includes mine, which was pretty important. This Tuesday, everything is on the line.
I believe this is the most, and this is not rhetoric, I truly believe this is the most important election in our lifetime.
It's the most important election of our lifetime, not because I'm right. This is the most important election of our lifetime.
I can't do the insurance reform stuff.
We took a long time to do our bill.
I do fix this stuff, but I can't do that by myself.
We don't have the assurances.
One of the lessons I've learned in my first 4 years is that you can't change Washington from the inside.
Voting Donald Trump, baby.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.
Please, your dusty mood don't vibe with me. You are all and so therefore I must say 10 for dinosaur. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okie dokie, boomer.
Oh my gosh. Are we here? We're here.
We're here. We
We're
are
here.
here. Yay. I'm feeling pretty good too.
You're
I'm a
looking
little
great.
feisty tonight.
You're looking great. Looking great. How's everything going?
Thank you. I had a rough week, as most of you know. The hair is officially gone, and I grappled with it. I cried. I kicked and screamed, but check out the new me.
Yeah, looks good.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Like I
okay.
said-
I was going to just wear my wrap tonight because my head's still very, very tender. But I look like Lovey from Gilligan's Island. so
Yeah,
I
Lovey.
decided-
Lovey. You
I
felt
decided to put one of the wigs on.
Yeah, you fit right in with all those rich shills that the Harris campaign is wheeling
Oh my
out,
God,
so.
I know. If I could get paid to come out and endorse Harris, I just put my
Oh,
turban on.
Oh,
Exactly.
hell yeah, man.
How you
That-
doing? I know you've been struggling with some infected teeth, man. There's
Well,
something
I've got 90% of my tests done, and I'm happy to say that I'm nominal. You know, and they,
You're
you know,
upright, yeah.
you know, they kind of made me feel good because I'm 65, as you know. But a couple of the tests, the doctor said, you know, your test is better than some people that are 15 years younger than you.
Oh, good.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty nice thing. I got that,
That always
going
makes
for
you
me.
feel good, right?
But I got a couple of big tests in December we talked about in the green room that
Right.
I really need to get those done because if
Yes, you do.
you got to get cleared on that.
You got it. Yeah, you're getting up there. It's time to take the initiative on your health, and you cannot trust the American health system to have your best interests at heart. So always poke the bear, scream, yell, be the squeaky wheel, and get the help that you need. I got to say, the Patreons back here, we love our Patreons. Our Patreons have kept us on the air all of these years, all 5 years. Thank
5
you
years.
so much. So many of these up here have been with us for 5 years.
Yep.
It's mind blowing to me every month when I go in there and I draw it out to make sure that it covers all of our streaming, like our YouTube platform stuff. And I just can't thank you guys enough. Thank you guys so much. All right.
Yeah. And our associate producers gave us a little bit extra all the way around. So a special shout out to all the associate producers. We can only offer an associate producer card at the end of the show, but those are permanent. I will never take those down unless you request them to be taken down.
Or changed. You can always update them too. Let us know. We'll do some different artwork.
We so appreciate everybody. And speaking of that, I want to start calling out the chat here.
Let's call
on
out the chat.
Beauty
I'm so
and the Boomer. We've got Popeye is in the house, but looks like Popeye was first in. Come Shwari Kate, and we have put Kate's stream address up at the top. It's pinned up at the top. And Kate, make sure you let everybody know that Music Without Borders is pinned to the top. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did.
Thanks, Julie.
And we don't put it up there every week, Kate, and we probably should find a permanent place up there for it.
We should.
It's
I know.
Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff.
We're about stuff.
Yeah, and we've got Cold Fusion Gaming. Who is that guy? We got Chris Alger.
Hi, Chris.
Two bunnies. Anthony's in the house. Anthony, Mastermind Hour. Great to see you, Mastermind Hour. Salty's Digital Dive. Yes, there's Popeye. You're popping up all over the place. There's a Trailer Park Pundit and Croaky. Good to see you, Croaky. And we have Grapentine. Always a pleasure, Grapentine. Fred Edward, one of our associate producers. Always sharing us everywhere and anywhere. Thank you so much. You are very consistent. Fred has been doing that for the longest time.
5 years.
Too.
5 years.
Yeah,
Fred's been with us doing that.
Yeah, you have been doing it a long time. We do appreciate it, Fred. And we got High Plains Drifter, Fetterman, laugh. Yeah, that's funny.
I saw it and was like, no, I'm not watching that shit.
Yeah, I just put a comment in there under that said, who does your hair, John? We've got Steve G. Steve G is in the house, and there's High Plains Drifter again. Let me see who else we got in here. Wow, it's starting to scroll. I'm starting not to catch up with it. Kill you, Grey Girls, and good to see you. And let me see who else we got in here. Old Man Barker, Peace Dove. There you are. I saw Old Man Barker a couple of times this week. I rented our chat in other shows, of course, Shanda, and it's always
of course,
nice
and I love our community just takes over other people's chats. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is nice. Jilly, Maud Maven, good to see you. Good to see you. Vicky, what's up, Vic?
Hey, Vic.
Good to see you. Let's see. Fingerman is in the house. Schlatsky. And that's it for what I've got. Who do you got?
Slatsky, let's see. We've got El Rogue. What is that over on the trailer park? And let me get over to the Rockfin. Jim's hanging out over there. Jim wants you to know that he voted. He voted for Miss Amber King for PUD commissioner. Yay! Is running in Snohomish County. If you are in the county, please vote for Amber. And let's see, Corona Pharisee's hanging out over there with Jim. And Copeland Morris. Good to see you. And let's check the Kick. We actually have a viewer on Kick. And wow, there's a bunch of you hanging out over on the Rockfin. Wild Rose 1. Dino is awesome. We agree. Good cover you chose this week, Oz. Go Start. And a Dingo Ate Me Baby is hanging out chatting over there.
Yeah, we got Wild Roses over on the Rumble and Go Start and a Dingo Ate Me Baby. And it shows several other people. If you're over there and you're inclined, just give everybody a shout out. So yeah,
the Rumblers, they don't chat. Hey, Kenneth Cohen, good to see you. You look like you need a wrench over at the trailer park. Let me get on that.
Woohoo.
That is mod. There you go. I'm throwing riches. Duck it. There you go. So yeah, if you're new to any of our chats, everybody here gets a mod wrench because that is true democracy in the chat. Oz, we got a great show lined up. We should get it started.
Okay, I think we will. Fair use, of course. This is probably going to be. Is this the last time we're going to use the fall deck? Depends, right?
Yeah, fall deck is gone. No, fall deck is gone. We're gonna, everybody's embracing Christmas early this year. If you haven't noticed, and I think it's because it's been such a shit depressing year, and we're all just looking for the festive fillings of the holidays. So yeah, This will be the last time we use the fall deck, and then we'll go into our holiday themed deck. Satire, the show is satire for what it's worth.
Yeah, for what it's worth. And going into Christmas is particularly hard. It's just a kind of a boost that I'm having a hard time even getting into that, watching what's going on around the world. But if it takes the edge off for 5 minutes, I'll take it. I need something. So yeah, and we still do Patreon over there.
I need the twinkly lights to make me feel better.
Somebody wants to join us in the Patreon.
Yeah, you can join our Patreon, Beauty and the Boomer. We appreciate it. We do send out notifications every show that we do for Beauty and the Boomer.
I wish we could do more with Patreon.
I know we do need to do more. And we've promised to do more, and I'm going to do more.
If you have time after you kick the cancer,
I'm gonna kick the cancer.
We should change it up. But if you'd like to buy us a coffee, which is a great way to send us a couple of shekels. This is where to do it. Just take that QR code on your phone and jam us $1 or $2. That would be helpful. And let me see, where am I at? Am I lost? Or we're right on track now.
You're here on planet Earth. I hate to break it to you.
Unfortunately, you brought this one.
No, this is the most important election of our lifetime. Democrats have been using this line our entire lives to fearmonger for votes. But once in power, they don't fight for anyone besides the corporate donors. Stop falling for it and start voting third party. I voted third party. But, as they say, that's a vote for Trump. And I just thought that this Shining reference was funny. The most important election of our lifetime. Most important.
Yeah, no, that's why I started out with it. But, you vote for a Democrat, you're voting for baby eaters, cannibals.
Baby eaters.
Jesus Christ. That's kind of a bad look. Bad look.
It is such a bad look, especially when you've gone down the Pizzagate, rabbit holes like many of us have. And the elite have been accused of partaking in a little cannibalism. So then Biden comes out doing this shit on Halloween. What happened to your camera? Your camera just went totally blurry. Like it's got cataracts.
God, I hope that doesn't stay that for the whole show. There we go.
There you go. You fixed it.
I was getting a little bit too comfortable.
I mean, I woke up after Halloween they did Halloween early. They did it the day before over at the White House. And Biden was out there biting all kinds of babies. This wasn't the only biting he did. Like every baby that came up to him, he bit.
Yeah, honestly, if I know the baby, if it's a friend of a family member,
right,
sure, I'll pull on its toes or poke it in the nose or something like that. But if I don't even know the family, I wouldn't even get close. Somebody should tell Russell Brand that too, by the way.
We're going to talk about that. I brought that clip. It's in the deck. Yeah.
Yeah. So you brought
just very out of touch. But then it wasn't just Joe that was out of touch. Jill Biden decides to show up as Panda Bear, and this just floored the Pizzagate community because I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to say go Google panda eyes. Children panda eyes, and it will totally warp your fucking mind what you find, and it's even in Google. I checked it to make sure. Yeah, she came out dressed as a panda. So when you know, you know.
Get out of the way. There we go.
Freaking ads. Little creepy.
Well, whoever made this, they.
Are they that out of touch?
Yeah.
Don't look it up. Kate says, don't look it up. Panda Eyes is seriously effed up. Yes, it absolutely is. So these guys are just that out of touch and they think that is the cute costume, or is it blatantly in your face? They have to tell you what they're doing, like we always say.
I want things to be cute, but they are so, like you say, blatantly in your face. They don't give two shits about anything that we think because they are controlling the world. Now, you move this up. Very good. Presidential candidate costume includes weird and inappropriate laughter, blackmail incarceration world record, ghosts of 10K Palestinian children. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that. Not included meaningful ideas, honesty, policies differing from Trump. Boy, I got to say, and that one costume there with that little gal,
I love that costume.
That is great.
What does it say? Quit sniffing me?
Quit sniffing me, man. Quit sniffing me. Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
I gotta say, the Trumpers really brought it for Halloween, man. It was amusing to watch on X all of the hilarious freaking Trump-inspired costumes.
Yeah, it was. Did
you see the one lady who dressed up as the screaming leftist that went to a Trump rally and she
stood up
screaming?
and she started screaming and everybody was just applauding the hell out of her. You nailed it.
Yeah, they're like,
yeah, no, some of the costumes and displays I saw this year were all top shelf. They did a terrific job. They were really good. We
embrace Halloween now in the West, and the UK really doesn't do that. But it comes down to the Satanism that's blatantly running rampant in the United States.
Yeah. Yep. Just worship Lord Baal. That's all you got to do. Joe Biden stepped in it again.
Oh my God, he stepped in. Okay, so Trump had a rally last week where they had a roast comedian come up, and he's a roast comedian. He's used to burning, burns, and he said something to the effect of Puerto Rico is just a floating garbage pile. And it was a joke. And then the Democrats decided they were going to take it and run with it because, they'll take one little thing out of context and then they'll just run with it all fucking week. And so that's exactly what they did. They paraded Biden out there on CBS Morning, and he basically calls all the Trump supporters garbage.
Isn't that
half the country he calls garbage?
It was pretty deep joke, but I probably would have aired and not done that joke. But don't we dump all our garbage in Puerto Rico now?
Right.
Because we don't send it to China anymore, right?
We were doing this bullshit pretend recycling thing where we were sending it to China, but China wasn't recycling most of it. And then during COVID, we quit playing that game altogether. China shut down and said, no, fuck you, keep your own garbage. And so all of your recycling that you're putting out to the curb and putting in your blue and green boxes is just going in a landfill and you're getting charged for the recycling of it.
Well, this is what you don't do, Joe. You don't do this.
I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
President Biden later tweeted to clarify that he was not talking about all Trump supporters as garbage, that he was only referring to the comedian's rhetoric as garbage, adding, quote, his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say.
Well,
but
you
this
didn't.
was certainly not the distraction the Harris campaign needed as she heads into this very carefully orchestrated final stretch of the campaign, Tony.
No, they don't want to be in the realm of meant to say.
He didn't mean to say. He said the only people I see out there is the supporters that are garbage.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I've seen several that they're like trying to rewrite everything he said, but I'm not going to get into it because they're lying again. But
whoever is advising Trump, you and I were talking about this in the green room, is fucking brilliant. They have really got him in touch with the everyday working people. And we're not Trump supporters, guys. You know that. We spent 4 years ranking on Trump on air with you guys watching. And they are a brilliant move, I got to say. They put him in a fucking garbage truck and they went out there meeting the people, the everyday people. And, we don't see this from the Harris or the Democrats because they can't stand toe-to-toe with the everyday Americans because they can't answer fucking questions on policy, but Trump can't.
No, they roll out multimillionaires, celebrities, and entertainers who don't have to live our lives, and Trump's getting in a fucking garbage truck. Okay, good move, buddy.
We're going to then try and beat the weather out because there's some bad weather coming in, but I just wanted to let you know that 250 million people, that's what I think the real number is for making America great again. 250 million, the real number. They don't think in terms of garbage, okay? They don't use terms like that, and it's a shame. And Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself if he knows what he's even doing, and she should be ashamed because she shouldn't let him do it. She's the vice president, but I assume she's acting as the president. She should never have let that happen. I hope you enjoyed this garbage truck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press.
I agree. Best garbage man ever.
It's all optics. And the same thing, well, what was it last week? McDonald's? I mean,
McDonald's,
you know,
exactly.
at least he's in the environment, campaigning in the environment. Again, what did they bring out today? Indiana Jones for Harris? Are you kidding me? Who gives a shit?
Cardi B last night.
Cardi
She had to
B?
read off her damn phone. You know,
Yeah.
she used to drug and rob guys. That was her claim to fame. Like, these
yeah.
are not people to look up to or mentors or, you know, they live in gated communities. They have drivers that take them everywhere. They get DoorDash every day. They are not like you and I scraping pennies together at the fucking Walmart to buy, you know, $10 worth of fucking eggs.
No, the hardest thing they do during the day is go to the gym and work out and get a massage afterwards. That's what they do.
Right.
That's what they do. You think I'm kidding? Well, there are a couple of celebrities out there that get it right, and Ricky Gervais is one of them.
I love this. This was good.
Hi guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics. So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country. And you don't want that.
Oh God.
Oh God,
Not
he
Madam
nails it.
X, not Madam Expiration date.
Oh my God, that's
Call her
hilarious.
Madam Expiration
Yeah,
date.
he's always kind of got it, you know, calling out all those pedophiles in Hollywood at the Oscars. That was great.
Like, they are so out of touch that the same day that new information drops from the grand jury that is indicting P. Diddy, that a female celebrity was featured on the videos that they have seen. The videos are there. They've seen them. They've have testimony from people who have seen them. And we got pictures dropped of a topless Jennifer Lopez back in the day with none other than Diddy at one of Diddy's parties with Jay-Z in the background. The Democrats decide that it's a good idea to stroll her ass out on stage and have her suggest who to fucking vote for.
No matter what we look like, who we love, or who we worship, or
She's Puerto Rican.
Her opponent,
You should be in prison with Diddy.
doesn't see it that way. He has consistently worked to divide us. At Madison
Oh, not the
Square
Democrats.
Garden,
No,
he
not the
reminded us
Democrats.
who
They
he
never
really
do
is and how he
anything
really
like
feels.
that.
It wasn't just Puerto Ricans that were offended that day. Okay? It was every Latino in this country. It was humanity and anyone of decent character.
Well, I guess we don't have decent character.
We don't. We don't.
Wow, that was so gross, so out of touch. I mean, so that was the response to the Puerto Rican joke from that comic.
She got
It
all
wasn't even like
teary-eyed
Trump
too.
said it.
She
Oh
got
my
all
God,
teary-eyed down the road
She's an
too.
actress, of course.
Yeah, and
she was
she
thinking
is.
about how her ass is probably going to go to freaking prison with Diddy.
Oh yeah, she's not going to be held in a good light. Maybe that's why her and Ben broke up again.
It is. It is. I have been doing a lot of watching of different videos, you know, all of the commentators, and that's absolutely why they split up. Ben hit the road before all the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were arguing about. Do you know what J-Lo's net worth is offhand by any chance? I do.
350 million would be my guess.
Man, you're close. 400 million.
Okay,
400
okay.
million.
Yeah, that's most of these celebrities are riding in the triple digit millions.
Oh yeah,
so,
Robert
yeah.
Downey Jr. is like over $1 billion now. I mean, how dare you bring out somebody that can't even relate to the everyday hardships and lack of health care and having to go into the military instead of finding a job, sustainable job. How dare you? Whoever's running these Democrats, they're out of their damn mind. They should be rolling out people that they connect with, not with movie stars and rich elites and the Bloombergs and all those fuckers. Anyway,
Yep.
the Babylon Bee.
J-Ho. I've called her J-Ho for years.
Yeah. And, you know, it's really sad. I like some of her movies. I thought they were cute, you know, but That's just what they are.
Not me.
Actors.
I'm not into those romantic comedy types.
I
man.
like
Give
the
me a
one.
good action shoot 'em up
I like
movie.
the one where she was a maid with what was the dude's name? Matthew McConaughey. That was a great movie. But they're actors. We have to remember these are not real people. They've got millions of dollars. They don't give a shit about the peasants. And in a lot of cases, they don't allow you to look them in the eye if you're working on their set, which
No,
is
she's
scary.
like that. Don't frickin' talk to me. Don't. She's so high society and above us useless eaters that how dare you approach her.
Well, the
Yeah, but
Babylon
she
Bee.
knows.
Babylon Bee nailed it. Diddy's ex-girlfriend urges Americans to trust her judgment. I thought that was pretty spot on. Why would you do that? J-Lo, how
Oh,
could you
God.
do it? Now,
Well, it's the Diddy party.
You brought this.
Caught on Epstein tape and caught on Diddy tapes. Celebrities for Harris. And you know what? You can go down the line and they are the exact same. I mean, it's shocking. And don't forget that they are all paid for these spots too, Oz. It's not like
They're
they're
paid-
rolling
they're
their
paid
asses
to
out
play,
of bed
yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you show up, give 2 minutes, and we'll give you $1 million. We'll give you $3 million.
The scuttlebutt was that Beyonce was given $10 million and she didn't even perform. Are you kidding? If that's true,
Excuse
boy,
turn off.
you better get your money back. We got Babylon Bee's doing some pretty good work. Ron Paul disguises Federal Reserve as Nike store in hopes of rioters will burn it down. Very good. Very good find there,
I like
Chanda.
the meme that says Ron Paul libertarians, and then it's a bottle of Trump 2024.
Oh my God! And then there's Cruella
Oh, I
Shanda
knew that.
there, just cheering it on. Very, very nice, Shanda. You look good.
Ooh,
There's
yeah.
a hat for you. You can put that hat on. We'll have to find you a Cruella
I
hat.
definitely look like a lovey then.
Yeah. Talk about staged. I think this is staged. Do you think this was staged?
Oh, mom and dad fighting.
Mom and dad fighting. I think it was staged.
PYT. So do you think Anna voted for Trump?
No. I think Anna. She probably didn't even vote. I don't know. I
don't know, but Jake, his outrage is just a little over the top, I think.
You know, again, somebody came at me about Tom Hartman this week too, and I would
That's
never
Tom
talk
Hartman.
to these people without a moderator and honestly a mic cut. Fact checker, mic cut, all that stuff. But that being said, if I had those, I'd take on any of them, including Tom Hartman. I don't care how much historical knowledge has, but I'm living in the present and I'm seeing what's happening, and you can't excuse it. Anyway, let me see. Run it, right?
Run it.
Okay, here we go. Run.
So when Debbie Dingell says he's going to start internment camps, he never said that. That is not helpful. On that, you're 100% right. Because once she says something that he didn't say, then
You can speed it up.
not only the right wing, but independents will discount
Thank you.
every other thing you've said. Not just every other thing you've said, but every other thing that anyone on the left has said. He never said internment camps. Don't say that.
And the notion of a fascist. Because look, if we're just going to use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna? You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do when you lose an election and you go, oh, I got fake electors and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
But was he able to do those things?
First of all, his entire cabinet had to threaten, not cabinet, administration, his White House team had to say, we're all going to mass resign if you roll out tanks against American citizens.
Okay, so if you think he's a fascist, wouldn't that justify taking physical action against him?
No, because that doesn't help. That devolves us further into fascism.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a difference between somebody shooting someone, that's fascism, and saying, I disagree with them, don't elect a fascist prick who says only white people are awesome and everybody else is garbage and should be banned.
When did he say that?
I'm not going to take a chance with a monster like that.
I have no
Focusing
idea.
on whether or not you're going to vote for him. I don't give a damn about that, and that's not what I'm asking you about, Cenk. I don't think that this rhetoric, especially from
I think she's
elected
mad.
members of Congress, is helpful
No,
at a
I
time.
don't agree.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Anna, why do I not agree? Because, so Trump's helpful is rhetoric? Trump's
his rhetoric is helpful.
Okay, if you don't want to be called fascist, stop saying fascist things. It's not that hard. Not that hard. Oh, here, let me have dinner with Nick Fuentes, who's a Nazi, Kanye, who's a Nazi, and let me say there's good people on the Nazi side. Oh, it could be pro-Confederate guys. Might be guys who are pro-slavery who are good guys. Let me do all these things. Let me say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation. A Nazi term that is only used in the past by Nazis. And then say, I'm going to ban Muslims. I'm going to do this and this and this to all the other ethnic groups. And they go, oh, I can't believe you called me a fascist. No, he is a fascist.
Honest to God.
Oh my God. We see more fascism under the Democrats than we've ever seen under Trump. And they keep throwing Nazi around, but the Democrats are actually supporting Nazis in the Ukraine. True, real-blooded fucking Nazis. So both of them are freaking idiots.
And the Democrats have been hell-bent on pushing mandates and censorship and spying and taking away what few rights we have left. Not that the Republicans wouldn't do it too, but the way it's laying out these days, I'm listening more to the Republicans' concerns than I would ever the Democrats at this point. They've betrayed us all.
That the Democrats are the ones that have changed. What was it? It was an executive order that they put in September, like September 23rd, that allows the U.S. military to be used domestically for an uprising. If they were that fucking concerned about Trump being a fascist and him taking office, why would they hand him that? Why did they hand him that?
That was Obama going out. I think it was Posse Comitatus or whatever the hell it was. And they've done more things, more damage to the general public that they're not even aware of than I can even imagine. And Tom Hartman, Natalie said that she had a go around with somebody in her Facebook, and I think Robert Reich was mentioned in that. Robert Reich.
Oh, Robert Reich.
He was a Clinton boy.
He was their economic advisor.
Yeah, the guy, capitalism thing, it ain't working. Capitalism's weaponized against poor people. If you can't see that, capitalism is weaponized against the poor. That's what it's all about. So if you can't see that, I don't even want to have the conversation. So, Natalie, right on. And I saw that. You were right. And you just stick to it. And your friend there, one of my friends too, but she just doesn't get it. I think her mind is crunched by MSNBS. Probably.
They all are. God, they need to. That is the worst brainwashing fucking system we have in this country is MSNBS and CNN. Absolutely all the way through. I mean, these people that we used to faithfully follow, like Hartman, and there was so many of them.
Yeah.
Even Democracy Now! Has just turned to shit. That's why we call it Democracy Later.
Yeah.
So Bernie sold he probably gave the email list to the Democrats. Did you get unsolicited campaign advertisements from Kamala Harris this week? Well, Fred Edwards did, and this was his response back. Yay, Fred, way to go.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel, Fred. Thank you. You should have sent him a penny back with that too. Here's a penny. Go buy yourself somebody else.
I got a fucking Harris email, and I was like, what the hell? I've never subbed to her. Why am I getting an email from her?
I'm getting calls.
Thank you, Bernie.
I'm getting calls on my phone from Democrats, and I only believe that it was from past affiliations like 10 years ago. Maybe less. But yeah,
Bernie
and
sold our asses.
Yeah, and I tell them, hey, you know why I'm voting against every single Democrat on the ticket? Gaza, babies being slaughtered. Yeah, we're paying for the bombs, asshole. I didn't tell them an asshole.
Making them.
Making them. Here you go. You brought this.
Okay, so I see Kill Your E-Grey Gross says, the line was bullying third-party voters as useless and brain dead, but they banned me too, so I can't call in and verbally bitch slap them straight because they're cowards. I'm losing because of Jill Stein. Because of Jill Stein or genocide? Genocide.
Genocide.
I was
Got
telling
it right.
you in the green room, genocide became my #1 voting issue this year.
That's it.
And, hey, from the trailer park, we are hungry. The bills are 45% higher than they've been. And but watching babies die constantly in my news feed, I personally, I can't, I feel selfish to be concerned with the price of gas and the price of milk when I see annihilated children in an apartheid freaking open air concentration camp just being bombed ruthlessly with our fucking bombs and our money. So of course I voted for Jill Stein, and I'm not stupid. You guys know I have worked all of these third parties for many, many years. And, I've talked a lot of shit about the Green Party. I don't think that they have very good infrastructure. I don't think that they have good communications. They have a lot of freaking issues, just like the Democrats, with rigging
infighting. Oh, God.
And all that bullshit. They're very cliquey. I have found them to be very cliquey. And you know how I feel about Jill Stein, because you and I have talked about it many times. I find her rude personally in person when I've talked to her multiple times. But it's still, fuck the Democrats. They're running this campaign. Shama Sawant, did you watch that interview over
Chris
Hedges?
It was great.
She did an hour with Chris Hedges.
Yeah.
It was great. And she's like, we have to punish the fucking Dems. We have to show them that we will vote third party. Instead of just sitting home and not having our voices heard at all, at least give it to the third party. I mean, they're never going to let a third party get to that 5% threshold to get federal funding anyways, because they will always rig it and always have a low number. But the Democrats will always use Jill Stein as their punching bag for when they lose to Trump. So, let's make it loud and proud. But I'm not judging anybody on their vote unless they vote for the Democrats. That's you can vote for anybody other than the Democrats, and I don't care. You vote for the Democrats, you are out of fucking touch.
That's the bar right there. And if the Republicans were in power, if they were in power, I'd be voting against them too. Same thing. Oh, yeah,
me too.
Same thing. I just, that's my line I won't cross. Somebody was talking about Rashida Tlaib today, how she won't endorse Harris.
She had to.
Yeah, and she didn't.
She would have lost her next race.
Yeah, she didn't endorse her.
I know, because she would lose her next race because who elected her? Her community of Muslims and Palestinians elected her.
Yeah, and I said underneath, if she did, it would make her the biggest hypocrite on the planet. So, she can't do that. And,
that was a strategic move. I would pat her on the back for her.
You know what? And honestly, I think when it comes to the biggest hypocrites on the planet, Bernie Sanders comes to mind real quick.
Oh, my gosh.
Real quick.
I can't believe we gave that man so much time.
I don't want anybody coming at me about Bernie love anymore. Goddamn, I was breathing, eating his bullshit.
There's delusional ones out there. We
Fuck
see him in our
him.
Facebook groups every day.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Instead of bending the knee, he should have just resigned. That's it. He would have been much better off. But now I can't stand that old shit stain. You brought this. This is Matthew McConaughey doing it.
We're getting ready for the 2024 season finale. It'll be Tuesday night, and Oz and I will be on air for it, no matter how sick I am. I plan on putting my turban on and showing up.
Yeah, I'll be ready to go. I will engineer. I don't want you doing anything, so I will engineer that show. And I wanted to let you know that, I don't know if you saw it this week, but Carrie Wedler was on AM Wake Up.
I did. It was a great interview with Steve. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you know how much I like Carrie Wedler. I think she's got her shit together so much better than most.
Always liked Carrie. Yeah.
But here she is, and she says something in this that I'm kind of like taken aback with. I was kind of surprised, and it made me think.
I haven't seen this, so I'll have to think too.
It's making me think. So I think this is fair. So you guys tell me what you think.
Repeal the 19th Amendment because irrational women ruined America by voting for big government Democrats. Except before the 19th Amendment, Americans elected Woodrow Wilson, who enslaved them to the Federal Reserve and set the U.S. up for over a century of ruling class exploitation, excessive taxation, debt, devaluation of currency, war and interventionism, and government propaganda while silencing speech, dissent, and disobedience. Theodore Roosevelt, a big government Republican, laid the foundations of the American empire even before Wilson and grotesquely expanded executive and federal authority and bureaucracy. A President Wilson and subsequent presidents then furthered. The gross expansions of government and the people's acceptance of them were well underway before the 19th Amendment. And long before the early 20th century, the founding fathers were brazenly expanding government and violating people's liberties in a special piece of paper. There was the Fugitive Slave Act, conscription, the suspension of habeas corpus, mass executions, cronyism for big business. History shows that all political parties seek to expand their authority. As it turns out, both women and men can be highly irrational, reactive, and ignorant. When the mortal masses choose mortal rulers who enforce their power through literal violence, even Wilson acknowledged government rests in all cases ultimately on force, you get violent authoritarianism and big government no matter which partisan cult has more control. If people need government because they're inherently bad and stupid, what do you expect from a government made up of people? I support repealing the 19th Amendment because the entire government and constitution should be repealed. It had one job, to limit government and tyranny, and it failed long before women got the right to vote.
So then what's the alternative if we repeal all of that? I mean,
Well,
that would
yeah,
be
I think moreover to her point, because I really do think she has her shit together, is that none of it's working. We have to turn that Etch-a-Sketch upside down and start over. And how we do that, I don't know. I don't know.
We can't do it with the corrupt, mind-washed people that are in this country. We would have to sit everybody down and do a history lesson of the true, actual history, not the history that was written by the victors. It's taken me many years to understand our actual true history, and that's a lot of diving into our actual history and reading the little things that nobody talked about at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, you go through and you have the Constitution for decades, years and years and years, and then they come out with a Patriot Act, and that just nullifies.
We knew. I protested the Patriot Act in real time back then. We knew it was overreach and a grab of power, and that it was going to stomp on our.
That was the beginning of the end of our rights. Right there was the Patriot Act, and again, I think and I'll close with this. In that thread that I'm talking about, Natalie had the other day. I told Natalie, in my opinion, the only thing that's going to change things is something so catastrophic and earth-shaking. I don't know how I parsed it, that we are going to be forced to change our ways. And
the only way I see that happening is a nuclear attack on the United States, half the population being gone, and the small villages and tribes that are left coming together and coming up with a new way forward.
Oh my God, that's dystopic as hell. Wow.
It is dystopic, but how do you get how many millions of Americans on the same page? You can't. And that is where we're at.
Well, we've been, social conditioning has done its thing, and I think we're ruined.
Exactly.
I think we're ruined. I was thinking more of like an
act. Do away with TV and radio and
I think something like a volcano, caldera, or an asteroid that causes havoc on the planet. Yeah, I don't know what's going to do it, but the way we're going, I mean, glyphosate's doing such a good job now. Why don't you just wait? So anyway, Bill Clinton came out and shit himself really good. I got a couple of clips of Crooked Bill while Wall Street Hill is out there shelling for Kamala. But here's the first one. Oh, yuck.
Let me talk about the hardest issue here in Michigan is the Middle East. Hamas did not care about a homeland for the Palestinians. They wanted to kill Israelis and make Israel uninhabitable. Well, I got news for them. They were there first, before there was their faith existed.
Excuse me? What? Excuse me? What the fuck are you talking about?
Tribes had Judea and Samaria. So here's what I want to tell you. I'm going to do everything I can to convince people that they cannot murder their way out of this. Neither side. You can't kill them.
I'm going to do my best.
And they have to make a new beginning. But when I read that people in Michigan are thinking about not voting because they're mad at the Biden administration for honoring its historic obligation to try to keep Israel from being destroyed, I think that's a mistake. Because Donald Trump has shown what he wants. But Kamala Harris has said that she will try to negotiate an end to the violence, an end to the killing, and a new peace process. And that ought to be enough.
He's in power right now and isn't doing that. I love the part in that speech where he said, we'll keep killing them. And he basically is admitting that we're fucking killing them. Like, he said the quiet part out loud. At least
he's stating something like it's just so normal of a thing to happen.
That's how they talk at their cocktail party.
That's how the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds do that. Let them eat bugs. I'm not going to play hardly any of this, but here he goes again. And oh my God. What's that? I can't even hear it. Maybe that's an omen.
I don't know. Why is it so muffled?
Oh, fuck that. I'm not going to listen to this. Yeah, that's how he should sound. But
I had a nightmare about those bastards last night. I literally had a dream. I was telling Bill Clinton to his face and Hillary that they were genocidal fucking maniacs.
I would.
Get
What
out
are
of
you
here,
gonna-
you genocidal maniacs.
Well,
What a
yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah. Well, here's Francesca Albanese, and she does a terrific job here, putting people in their place.
Hopefully the sound's
Frankly,
okay.
I'm shocked. I always experience a sense of shock and delusion when I come to this room because many of you recited the same script that you had in front of yourself last year. Of course, we condemn Hamas attack. Of course, we express solidarity with the Israeli victims. Of course, we demand the release of the hostages, both the Israelis and the Palestinians. But is it possible that after 42,000 people killed, you cannot empathize with the Palestinians? Those of you who have not uttered a word about what is happening in Gaza, demonstrate that empathy has evaporated from this room. And empathy is the glue that makes us stand united as humanity. But don't worry, you can continue and you will become more and more irrelevant to the rest of the world, which
Hell
is in
yeah.
turmoil. And it's not just the global south. Look at the young people in Europe, in Western countries, those to whom many of you, including my own country and Germany and France and the UK, are demonstrating that human rights are good to be taught in schools and universities. But don't dare you trying to exercise freedom of assembly and freedom of expressions in your street, all the more for Palestine, all the more touching our ally Israel. This is what you are telling young generations.
Yep.
There should be hundreds of people saying that in that chamber. But it's only a few because guess who's got their short and curlies right in their grip? The United States and Israel. I refuse to live like that. We're going to test the sound with this one. Tell me about this. I didn't bring this prick because he's just a piece of shit.
He gets called out, and he always has a bullshit answer like he always does. This is Matt Miller from the State Department.
Yeah, he's got a special place at the bottom of the deck today.
Oh, he's evil. Yeah.
I wonder if you have anything to say about the Israeli strike today in Gaza. I think the latest death toll that we've reported is nearly 100 by eyewitness accounts. Many of them appear to be civilians, children. I know
This
you
is
don't
when
speak
we
for the
saw the
government of Israel,
woman
but as
hanging out the
Israel's-
window dead.
Yeah, you have anything to say about this?
We are deeply concerned by the loss of civilian life in this incident. This was a horrifying incident with a horrifying result. I can't speak to the total death toll, but there are reports of 24 children killed in this incident. No doubt, a number of them are children who have been fleeing the effects of this war for more than a year now. We have reached out to the government of Israel to ask what happened here. We don't yet know the underlying circumstances. We have not gotten a full explanation from them about what happened. But you step back and look at where we are in this campaign. We are a year into the government of Israel's military campaign.
Military campaign? You mean the genocide
Israel
slaughter?
has decimated Hamas's
Motherfucker.
military capabilities. It has decimated Hamas's leadership. It has, through its military action, ensured that Hamas does not have the ability to repeat the attacks of October 7th. And all of that, getting to here, came at great cost to civilians in Gaza, which is, of course, often the case when civilians are caught in the crossfire in conflict. And so that tragic cost to
They're
civilians
targeting
continues
civilians,
today,
dipshit.
quite
knows
notably
that.
in this strike, which seems to have claimed significant
God.
civilian life. And it is another reminder of why we need to see an end to this war.
And so, the Secretary himself also said last week that he thinks that Israel's strategic goals have largely been met. So why carry out strikes like this, and what's the utility at this point?
So you have to take that question to the government of Israel. So
I
will say that as the Secretary said, yes, their strategic goals have largely been met. Now, there is a strategic goal that remains incredibly important, and that is to return all of the hostages.
Oh, but we don't hear a fucking word from Israel when it comes to the hostages. Not a word from Netanyahu. I mean, they don't want those hostages back because that's their excuse.
That's their
to
boogeyman.
target and kill. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
well,
that's
we have
this.
that. That's their
This
fault.
I don't know how pieces of shit like Miller and Kirby and Patel look at themselves in a mirror when they go
Blinken.
home at night. Blinken. I'm convinced Blinken is just hellspawn from somewhere. I just
he is.
he is.
His dad
He's not
was-
even
oh my
human.
God.
Yeah.
Can you do the research on his dad? Like, oh my God, talk MK Ultra, Monarch, fucking, it's so bad.
What do you got, Abby Martin here? What's she got?
Well,
going
because Abby has always been a leader of the pack when it comes to fighting for the Palestinian people, and I still respect and appreciate her. I mean, there's been a couple of times over the last few years I haven't
The
agreed
vid.
with what Abby had to say, the
Yeah.
vid, but she was a new mother, and I get when you have a baby, it changes your outlook on. You just want to protect that baby,
Well-
and something like the vid and what we were told it was in the beginning. I get why it broke her.
Well, she probably regrets it now that we've seen what we've seen this week on that. But anyway, let's move along. I don't want to get us in trouble.
Yeah, no, let's keep moving.
Okay, here we go.
Again, like just the unprecedented nature of this assault and the gloves off approach that truly is unprecedented on behalf of the U.S. to just say bombs away, kill as many as you want to, including 500 to reach Nasrallah. I mean, it's just absolutely nightmarish. Doesn't even begin to describe what's going on. And it's just, if you give Israel the green light, what's next? And not only that they're not stopping them, they're rewarding them $8 billion more in weapons. Biden is completely absentee. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I mean, I don't know if they're just taking advantage of Biden's complete incompetence and absence, or if this is just full-throated.
Absolutely.
The administration's totally behind this. Let's just go balls to the wall here. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
During the Bush administration, when Israel assassinated Ahmed Yassin, the founder of Hamas, the White House then issued a condemnation of the assassination because it killed 7 other people when that strike went down in Gaza. When Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, was killed in the last few days, despite the fact that Israel's own estimates were around 300 people were killed in this assault, 6 residential buildings completely flattened, driven into the ground, Biden hailed it as an act of justice for Hezbollah's victims, including Lebanese civilians, which was interesting considering what had just occurred. I think and other people have made this observation as well, when Netanyahu went to Congress, and he spoke before a completely hooting crowd, full standing ovation, both sides of the aisle. He saw the kind of support he had in the United States. And he went up to the Oval Office and he met with Biden. And there was no indication from him that he would oppose any of what was about to come. There was already this huge amount of impunity that had been established throughout this entire war, but that, I think, pushed it over the edge into the seizing of an opportunity here. And that's the kind of language that the IDF is working here with right now. The idea that this war in Lebanon is the kind of opportunity that they waited for years. And they're going to take advantage of it while the iron is hot.
Back.
And what that means when the iron is hot is they are going to pummel as many buildings as they want to the ground, destroy, level as many neighborhood blocks as they want to, move with full force, because they know that all red lines that were established before no longer exist.
And so is Lebanon its own separate country and they have invaded another fucking country?
Yeah, Lebanon, Syria, just
which is just fucking mind-blowing
Iran.
to me. That it's
I mean, we're watching Israel invade all these other countries or attack, invade. You can get my parsing.
Well, remember what we did to
all day long.
Saddam when he invaded Kuwait, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we know how that went. That the whole thing is ridiculous, and I'm tired of them calling this a war. This is a slaughter against. Except now it's not against completely unarmed people. They're starting to poke bears that they are going to pay the price. And from what I've seen recently, they've lost 850 IOF colonizer mercenary assholes.
Did you see that video of them running from the border of Lebanon when they got shot?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all crying like little fucking babies.
yeah.
Get a taste of your own medicine.
And they're putting out air raid drills, and they're pretending like, oh my God, see what we have to endure every day? Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
just
fuck
just
you.
just look at what they're doing to the Palestinians.
You're not
and
starving. Exactly.
Have a lot of sympathy for you.
You can get your
Go
takeout
fuck
while you're getting
yourself.
bombed.
And I'll say that so I don't get in trouble. I'll say it this way. I want to see justice visited back on Israel in the most just way possible. Is that fair enough?
Yep.
Okay.
Fair enough.
This guy's my hero. As a matter of fact, I recommend everybody use him as a template in your local community, city council, anywhere you go to protest. Use this guy as a template, what he says here.
Week, a team of 4 Oxfam engineers were traveling through Gaza in an attempt to repair water infrastructure for the starved Palestinians there. The engineers got prior approval from Israel and coordinated every step of the way while they traveled in their clearly marked vehicle. It should not surprise you to learn that Israel bombed and murdered these 4 engineers. Which brings me to the question you choose to ignore every week. Why did these lives deserve to be ended? Why is trying to give water to innocent, starved victims a crime punishable by death from Israel? Why does Israel get to drone strike a child in the street and then use him as bait and bomb the people that came to help him? Why does Israel get to block all aid to northern Gaza? Then, after Biden pretends to care, Israel goes on to murder more than 80 people in a single massacre in the Jabalia refugee camp. Israel gets to commit all these war crimes and genocide because it knows cowards like you will never speak up. Some of you pretended to care what the UN had to say in 1948. The UN of today has demanded a ceasefire. Do you care? The UN of today has had more aid workers killed in the last year than in its history. Do you care? Politicians like you have shown that you don't give a shit about any human life. We've watched Palestinian, Lebanese, Syrian, Yemeni, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, engineers, doctors, aid workers, peacekeepers, children, and Americans all murdered by the terrorist state of Israel without a word of objection from you. Justice delayed is justice denied. And each week you go home silent. You are not only denying that justice, you are enabling murder. You are sentencing innocent people to death. Here are just 2 of the lives that could have been saved if people like you spoke up.
Watch
Bravo.
this. Watch this. He's showing the babies with blown apart and shit.
Good.
You can't see it, but he's showing.
Stephen Pryor, welcome.
And I feel a responsibility to bring those videos, but how depressing of a show to just watch the babies every day.
Sorry, Stefan, I was distracted.
Look at the smirks on their faces.
Welcome.
You should be. It's a fucking genocide.
Yeah, I mean, if you had more people doing that, not only on the street, but in these city council meetings and jurisdictions and Senate and, state representative
And
meetings.
they are, though. We're seeing people call them
We
out
are,
in public
finally.
and
We're
throw up
seeing more.
Nazis.
And we don't
Yeah.
get to see a lot because they embargo a lot of it, too. They won't let it hit the airwaves.
Oh,
So
gosh, yeah.
what is this you
The
brought
media's
here?
owned.
What is this?
This is a UN, the EU. I want to say this is the EU being asked about workers being fucking targeted and why they don't bring it up.
Did I miss it, or did you mention an UNRWA staff member that was killed yesterday?
I can confirm, yes. I can confirm that a member of the UN Relief and Works Agency, one of the drivers, was killed when his vehicle had been shot at by the IDF, yes.
Shot at?
And the vehicle was a UN-marked vehicle, yes or no?
This was a UN-marked vehicle, yes.
Farhan, why don't we mention this anymore? Have we become so numb to the fact that Israel is killing UN personnel and there are now 233 that are dead that we don't even mention it anymore?
Unfortunately, I did neglect to add this amid the other notices that we've had, but the sad truth is that there's so much devastation to report that as you see, I've just gone over about 20 minutes worth of stuff without even getting to that part.
Sorry, I didn't get to that part. I missed it. We had too much more. I got to tell you, my hair looks like that under my wig. U.S. military aid to Israel, 1959 to 2024. There you are. Look at the spike in that, Oz.
Yeah, well, that's not a shocker. And all those billions of dollars, just one of those billions of dollars could help that North Carolina, those people. That would make them whole. One of those billions.
I didn't even bring much on North Carolina. I could do a whole show on what's going on there. They're trying to remove babies from families because they don't have homes. Like the Red Cross is pulled out. FEMA is not there helping. They're
Sorry
not
about your
getting
luck.
trailers in.
Sorry
no
about your luck.
permits. Like, oh, you got to have a permit to have a travel trailer on your own fucking property. I mean, it's insane what they're doing there. And the leftists just want to scream, no, we're helping. They're getting what they need. Like, shut the fuck up. That's not exactly what's happening.
Now,
this woman here just goes off with genocidal freaking hate, and she's screaming to an empty room. You're gonna have to read it, so you'll have to take us off the screen. We want to do everything, turn Gaza into Singapore. Look, nobody's there.
שהאויב הכי גדול של הילדים בעזה זה לא מדינת ישראל, זה אנשים כמוהם, חברי כנסת במדינת ישראל שסותמים את הפה, כשלוקחים ילד בגיל 3 ומאמנים אותו להיות רוצח, כשלוקחים ילדה בגיל 4 ומאמנים אותה להיות רוצחת, שמגדלים שם אוכלוסייה שלמה של נאצים שכל רצונם הוא לא להשתחרר מכיבוש, כי כבר אין כיבוש, וכל רצונם הוא לא עצמאות.
There's no occupation. They desire no independence. They don't care about independence. They don't care about prosperity. They don't care about progress. They don't want anything for themselves. They want us to die.
וכשעאידה תומא סלימאן באה וצועקת כאן, רצח עם, טיהור אתני, איפה היא? כשלוקחים מיליוני ילדים,
what millions of children have been taken from the Jews? What is she
והופכים
talking
אותם
about?
מגיל 0 לרוצחים, לשהידים ולנאצים.
What's her damage? Is she just like doped up or something, or what?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm glad to see that nobody was in that room supporting her and her genocidal rage and hate. I mean, they do not see the Palestinians as human beings. There is no empathy there for them at all.
It harkens back to what the original colonizers of the United States were like. They were probably the same goddamn way. They looked at all the Native Americans as non-human and slaughtered them. So we've got
that's why they call them savages.
We've got a legacy that is a gift that's going to keep on giving forever, and I have to bear that. So this one I really particularly like this. Sam Husseini, I'm not surprised. Lots of people I know are voting Trump. Many because the RFK and the pandemic origins and related issues, they should pair up with progressives voting for Harris in LA PAC, of course. Give this a listen. This didn't end like I thought it was going to.
I love Trump. Absolutely, yeah. Since 2016. Yeah.
Okay, so did you vote in 2016?
Well, 2016 I was in high school, so no. But 2020 I did, and then now again, obviously I am, of course.
Obviously, it's been more than a year of this war in Gaza. It is not closer to ending, even though there's been calls for ceasefire for over a year. How do you feel about the situation?
So I don't think it started on October 7th. I think that it started in 1948 when the British and the United States decided to create Israel and make it a state. And that's when the first Nakba happened, 47 to 49. 15,000 Palestinians were killed.
Right.
Even more were displaced. They were forced out of their homes. And as you see the maps from back then to now, Palestine has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where now it's Gaza and West Bank, and even West Bank is getting infiltrated. There's no safe place for Palestinians to exist. A lot of people think, it happened on October 7th. That's not true. That's just what the media decided to show and side on, because ever since 1947, the media has been anti-Palestine.
How do you feel about the way that the Biden administration has handled the situation over there?
I think it's pathetic. I think he's pathetic. I think Kamala is as well. I think that the whole world knows that they won't.
Yet she's a Trump supporter, and she's I don't
Love
get that.
it. Actually informed. When
She's
you see the
informed.
videos of them out asking Kamala supporters, can you give me one
that was
policy
Orf,
reason
yeah.
why you're voting?
Orf,
They can't say anything other than she's a fucking woman. They have no idea. They have no clue on policy at all. And when they do, they're wrong. They're 100% wrong about whatever stance or policy they try to bring up.
Do you really think, or does she really think that Trump is going to be better on Israel than anybody, than Harris and Biden? I think they're going to be the same, don't you?
Well, no, I do think that Trump might be a little better because Trump actually has the fucking cojones to stand up to Netanyahu, where Biden's just a fucking, what do they call that? A gimp. He's a gimp of fucking Israel's,
Yeah,
and
but he owes
does whatever they say.
Miriam Adelson
Miriam
like
Adelson, I know.
$100 million. You know, she's buying him. So I don't know. That's going to be
That's
interesting.
true. That is absolutely true. And don't forget, Jared Kushner is Netanyahu's godson, who is, of course, Trump's son-in-law.
Yeah, he's a big real estate
no, I
guy
don't
over
think
there.
Trump's going to be any better. And they're looking to sell all that. Jared's already selling waterfront property in Gaza right now. You can go to these seminars in New Jersey and buy a property with dead babies under it.
Does it make
no,
any?
Absolutely not.
Does it
And
make?
that's why I
any,
couldn't vote for Trump.
Does it make any sense to say that maybe Trump gets in there and they do stop the slaughter because it's not good business?
I think they're just going to pivot. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think they'll just pivot. Trump
am
absolutely wants war in the Middle East. I believe that.
I don't
think he wants to pivot away from Ukraine, though.
I don't think. I think he wants to get out of that mess in Ukraine because it's not good business. So I don't know. What do you got here? You got.
We pledge allegiance to Israel and to the genocide for which it stands. But they only until she's elected. So after the election, you'll still get genocide, but no groceries. Vote for Jill Stein instead of either puppet being offered. Let's see, and genocide and tax cuts. So yeah, you get genocide and groceries or genocide and tax cuts.
Yeah, that's about your choice. Just hanging out, waiting for you guys to figure out that voting isn't working. And it isn't working. Nope. It's not working.
Way out.
You brought this Fiorella. He says, yes.
He says, breaking reminder that that apart from genocide, this is illegal too. Of course, the IDF fired more than 20 white phosphorus. Let's see, M825, 155 millimeter shells towards the southern Lebanese settlement, and a failed offense. So, but the point of the reason I brought this is don't forget that this white phosphorus is coming out of none other than Arkansas,
and it's a war crime.
It's a war crime, exactly.
It's a war crime.
War crimes don't matter nowadays. So.
Not these days, and that alone does not inspire me to vote at all for any Democrats.
American made.
And the Democrats that didn't show up at that little weenie roast that Netanyahu had in Congress, the ones that didn't show up, they still aren't speaking out against it. So they just chickened out.
Whatever, they met behind closed doors with him. Harris didn't show up, but she met with him later that night. So whatever. It was total bullshit. Yeah. Who's winning? BlackRock's winning. Vanguard's winning. State Street's winning. The Big Six, of course.
Yeah, and that's just a PSA, but I like this for the meme. Everything's been fucked since Bowie died, and I agree with that. So,
yeah, it kind of has.
It has.
I gotta admit.
It's
I
been
miss
fucked.
Bowie. We need
now
some
you
Bowie.
Got they brought out the Terminator and the pedophile king.
Yeah. The pedophile king and the Terminator decided to come out and because he's such a big bad Republican, he decided to endorse Harris. Why put it next to this dildo?
We want to do the same thing here. We want to communicate the right way. I think this whole climate change dialogue is not going to work. I think this has been used for the last few decades. I think we should address it directly, what it is, which is pollution. We want to terminate pollution.
And who's
the
polluting?
We should go
not
get out
us.
there, and I think that it doesn't matter if it's the Chinese or the Russians
big
or whoever
business,
it is. We maybe don't
big
agree with them, but we all have
big
to bring them in,
agriculture.
and we all have to work together with them.
Yeah, that's
that
John.
Fucking Q-tip stands there shaking his head.
Yeah, John Podesta. He's what's his name's butt buddy, the greasy fucker over at oh God, what's the name?
Podesta is so evil. I've been working. I haven't told you guys this, but I've been working on an uncensored, like a deep dive uncensored, and I have seen some shit. Let me tell you. And Podesta, he keeps coming up, and he keeps coming up, and he keeps coming up. He is some kind of fucking total ringleader of this nasty shit. And so I just figure because I need something to do, and I'm not going to be doing shows because I start radiation this week. I figured I'll just work on a kick-ass uncensored. We haven't done one in a long time from the trailer park. And so I'm just going slow and steady. And holy shit, I've got stuff that's so graphic that we definitely can't show it on YouTube. Like viewer discretion advice. Like,
that'll be on Rockfin and Rumble, I'm sure. Got to be careful on Kick too, from what I understand. So be careful. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I won't air on Kick that day.
Whitney Webb and Neil Oliver, two of my favorites people to listen to. And
I know, that's why I brought this. I was like, oh, it's a Neil Oz. I love it.
Yeah, I like the Scott. I like the Scott.
Same people who claim to be altruistic and want to help the world for public health, but have been stealing our wealth and making us sicker, are claiming that they care about the environment. They want to save the planet, but they're the ones destroying it. This whole world that we're being pushed into requires so much mining, that they want to dig up essentially all of the Andes in Latin America and major swaths of Africa and make them uninhabitable so they can get all the nickel and cobalt and copper to build their electric vehicles and their AI data centers and all of this stuff. AI data centers and all of that also need a ton of water, as do the mines, and they're trying to privatize all of that stuff right now. That's what carbon markets are. It's privatizing carbon-based life, essentially, and they want to do the same with water and air. And the person that came up with carbon credits used to work for the junk bond scandal-ridden bank, Drexel Burnham Lambert, and he invented financial derivatives, which exploded in 2008 and largely caused the 2008 economic crisis. I mean, again, these are like criminal banker schemes, and they're framing it as they're saving the global commons and saving the planet and saving humanity. They're doing the opposite. We need to be the ones that save the planet and save humanity, and we absolutely can do that. We just have to remember who we are, what humans are meant to do, which is create and, lift each other up. And we need to get rid of these people who are keeping us down and destroying our world.
Bravo.
Yeah, she's got to be way high on that Mensa scale. She has to be in 150s, 160s.
I know. I think of her brain like probably the largest library. You just wander through it for days and days, right? Because the amount of information that woman stores in her brain about all of these evil entities in the world is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, did you see what happened in Spain? I'm trying to move us because we're getting long in the tooth on this. Did you see what happened in Spain?
Yeah, the
flooding, historic, fucking insane flooding. You guys know what I think happened here, but
here we go.
I won't do it.
Mira que crecía, papa, mira que crecía. ¿Tú crees que esto es normal? Mira la calle el médico. Mira la calle como va para abajo.
They got a year's worth of rain in one day. That pool's already up to like 200. And the water came on so fast. It came on so fast. I saw people inside of a parking garage, like,
Mamma mía.
Parking spot.
La crecía como viene.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Terrifying. But is it a coincidence that Spain canceled the weapons deal with Israel? I think it might be.
Oh, man. I'm going to make you a new tinfoil hat for that one.
Definitely.
So you
Satan,
brought this.
It was Halloween, so I decided to bring Satan to the deck. Of course, Victoria Newland stopped by to talk to Rachel Maddow, because that's always a good time.
You are grossing me out with this, right?
I know.
Third election in a row in which Russia has tried to interfere to try to get Trump into the White House. How do you assess the magnitude and the type of interference they're attempting this year compared to what they've done in his previous two elections?
Oh my God.
Well, as you said earlier, Rachel, he's at it again. This time he's not even trying to hide his hand, and he has far more sophisticated tools. His AI is better, so he can make these fake videos. He has done things like spend $10 million trying to buy American influencers and get them parroting his lines and not even know it's happening. But he's also got a brand new, very, very powerful tool, which is Elon Musk and X. In 2020, the social media companies worked hard with the U.S. government to try to do content moderation to try to catch this stuff as it was happening. But this time we have Elon Musk talking directly to the Kremlin and ensuring that every time the Russians put out something like this, it gets 5 million views on X before anybody can catch it. So it's quite dangerous. Although I do think the American electorate has gotten more sophisticated and more savvy about this stuff.
Oh my God, that was so gross.
Those two I want to nominate for worst creatures of the year. Rachel Maddow, how dare she even lets the word Russia pass through her lying lips?
Remember when she said Russia was going to turn our heat off? Yeah, that was funny.
God.
Fun times, Puppet Master.
She gets $100,000 a day to spew that kind of bullshit propaganda. Right. And people buy it because Rachel's Rachel.
Half America eats that shit with a spoon. Are you kidding?
Oh, God.
Those are definitely all the voters. But here you are, Master versus Puppet. If you don't know the backstory between these two, then you should have no idea who is actually running your world. That is so true. Ned welcomes Victoria Nuland to the board of directors. Oh, that's right. Washington, D.C. veteran, a diplomat, ambassador Victoria Nuland is joining the National Endowment of Democracy board of directors because this bitch knows shit about democracy.
You know, and this is why it's going to be so hard to ever change anything, because it's nepotism, it's corruption. It's unbelievable. And, you know,
I'll rub your back, you rub my
if
back.
it wasn't for the amount of destruction it's going to take to change this, I wouldn't be hoping for a volcano or a meteorite. But I think that's the level it's going to take.
That's the only thing that's going to take. Yeah, I agree.
It's going to take
We're too propagandized and too brainwashed. This cracked me up. I laughed so hard when I saw it. Shut up, German Hillary, before I slap your Canadian girlfriend.
That's funny. That is
it
funny.
shocked Tom Hartman.
And then there's this one. You brought this.
Hey, remember the Panama Papers came out and revealed that all the rich people in the world were a part of an enormous criminal conspiracy to dodge taxes and hoard stolen wealth in offshore accounts, and literally nothing happened.
Nothing.
Oh, but it was a good movie, and Meryl Streep got a nominee for it.
Of course they did. Happy for Hollywood once again. Now I made a couple of cuts here tonight, and these two are the two cuts I made.
That was a great conversation.
I mean, one of the things that has stunned me is the way many commentators in the media have defended her strategy of not talking to the media. But, you know, you and I both, this is a kind of whipping boy for both of us, but just let's talk about the abject failure of the media to even abide by the most basic journalistic ethics and standards.
Or integrity,
you know, I just saw that Rachel Maddow, who's the most popular host on MSNBC, is coming out with a documentary about Russia, and it's called From Russia with Lev. And it's just they just didn't stop. They just didn't stop doing their McCarthyism. They just didn't stop artificially propping up enemies in service of them. I mean, she is a complete and 100% puppet of the military-industrial complexes. And, you know, she Russiagated, which was, you know, debunked from day one on my show, but it was even debunked by the Mueller report. There's no evidence of any of that stuff. And it didn't matter one bit because the establishment you don't have to pay a price for lying like that. And in fact, you get rewarded. Now she went from making $7 million a year. Now she makes $35 million a year, which, by the way, is $100,000 a day. That's how much Rachel Maddow makes, and that's the lefty news people. So I mean,
trust her.
I don't think there's any hope. You know, when there are people. If you look at the Huffington Post, it's like a cartoon.
Yeah,
it's like those headlines are. I look at it. My wife and I look at it. We just kind of I can't. I have to blink a couple times. Like that's their headline, and it's complete control by the billionaire class, and that's what's wrong with the media. They answer to the donor class. They answer to their advertisers. They answer to big pharma, military-industrial complex, Boeing, people like that, and Wall Street. And so that's why they've come down so hard on you, and they've come down on independent news, right? Because they can't have a counter narrative. Because if the establishment can't control the narrative, then they lose control. And if they can't control the narrative, then they have to start disappearing people, which they'll do.
They did
it's
in
just a little harder,
2016.
right? And so they'd rather just do censorship and control, which the media is all for.
And the media is all for it. I've got a twofer for Chris here. Here's the other one. This is great.
But if you look at the project of
this was a great interview.
Israel from the very inception, from 76 years ago, that was a project of British and American capitalism. You can say imperialism, but imperialism is a part and parcel of the capitalist system. And by its very inception, the Israeli state was going to be deeply oppressive towards the indigenous people living there. And when you understand that that's the history behind it, then it helps you to understand that all the political representatives, all the spokespeople, not only the politicians, but also the political pundits, the commentators, all of who are in alliance with the interests of US capitalism are going to be completely and utterly devoted to the project of the Israeli state, which includes the currently ongoing genocide, not to mention the decades-long brutal occupation, and as some have correctly called it, sort of the slow and ongoing type of genocide of the Palestinian people. So by that measure, both the Democrats and Republicans are completely dedicated to this project, and it won't matter really if Kamala Harris wins the White House or Donald Trump wins the White House. As far as the genocide is concerned, there is no way out unless the anti-war movement builds independently of both of them.
I agree. I agree. There's no big change going to happen. We can always hope, but for now, the Biden administration is responsible for everything that's happening, and to give Kamala Harris your vote, you are in effect giving them a mandate to continue slaughtering innocent civilians. And I couldn't live with myself by doing that.
Hold on, Nat. I'm grabbing it for you. She's looking for Chris Hedges' YouTube channel. He has his own YouTube channel now.
Oh, yeah, the Chris Hedges report. Yeah.
The Chris Hedges report. Yeah, here, I got it. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you. He's hard to find now that he's been kicked off of so many of his
I mean,
so
Chris and Chomsky for that matter too. Everything's not everybody's going to agree on everything, but matters of life and death, most of the people that we follow are in agreement.
I didn't agree about with Chris, especially during COVID. But did you see that our pal Jason Call got to drive around with him in Santa Barbara yesterday? That's cool. He said it was cool to have a one-on-one conversation with him.
Jason's our pal?
He's my pal.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I'm
proud of Jason. We all started out at the same place, and now he's running Jill Stein's campaign. I'm proud.
No,
of him
I think he's doing good work. I'd like to sit down and have a private, honest conversation with him, because I think I'd get one if it was in private, and that would be good.
Oh yeah, and you get him a couple of times. You would stump him. Remember Jason and I sat down and interviewed Shama together over on my Accidental Activist channel or show once, and so I've done a lot with Jason over the years, and I know where his heart is, and I don't agree with him on everything, just like
I don't either. But more power.
But
to
I'm
him.
proud to see
credit
so
where credit
many
is
of
due.
us everyday people out there trying to change politics. He was just a teacher in Seattle, and now he's out there trying to change the world. So
I'm so glad, though. It gives my heart great joy that you and I and Amber and Linda and so many people in this chat have been on this shit for 5 years plus. We have not been off target very often.
No,
and at least that gives me some confirmation that we're on the right track. I just had to put this up because the most trusted name for propaganda and lies would be CNN. And Caitlin Collins is one of their not so new, but up and coming propagandists over there. Nicole Wallace for other channels, Rachel Maddow, of course, Jake Tapper, Dana Bash. They are all paid to lie and socially condition you. So don't waste your time, guys. And I'm sorry I have to bring it in, but I want to remind people. Now,
Don Lemon got the fuck off pie this week.
Yeah, he should too. I think I cut this too. So sorry, you're gonna have to endure this. This is, I want to say he's not wrong on a lot of these points.
But all of the institutions of our government have been captured by the
He's got a lot of
industries that they're
leftists
supposed to
voting for
regulate
Trump,
it.
and so I'm cool with
NIH,
that.
CDC, and FDA have been captured by the pharmaceutical industry and the medical cartel. People are making money on sick children and on keeping us sick. The insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the healthcare companies, the hospitals, even the medical schools are all bought off and tied in by this kind of money, and they've turned our public health agencies predatory against the American public. The FCC, which I sued recently successfully, I sued them in the Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. for lying to the American public about the safety of cell phones and of cell phone radiation. And
I've been
and they've
saying
been
this
captured
since
by the big telecom
2016, and
companies.
I was crazy conspiracy theorist.
The EPA has been captured by the big polluters. The USDA has been captured by big ag. USDA was created to protect the small farmers and to ensure that we would have a wholesome food supply, but it does just the opposite. It's making war against small farmers, and it's ensuring that Monsanto and Cargill and the big chemical companies, Syngenta, et cetera, control our food supply and are able, without any kind of impediment, to poison the American public.
Was there anything he said that you disagreed with?
Absolutely not. And, you know, I can't stand his support of genocide and fucking schmooly up his ass. But on pretty much everything else, I'm glad that he is with the Trump campaign, advising them on this shit. At least somebody's in his ear that is talking about how dangerous and fucking poison our food and medicine is.
You brought these.
I did. So I'm the father of the vaccine, but she'll be the mother of the mandate, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we live in a time when intelligent people are being silenced, so stupid people won't be offended.
I love that. And you brought this. I brought the Obama one, I think. Let me be clear.
Let's see.
We must
Yeah,
come
go ahead.
together to defeat Trump so fascism can be done quietly and with decorum.
With decorum, always. I found this one very relatable. The days of trust me, I'm your doctor are over, are long gone. So the biggest topic in our medical journals right now is the mistrust of medical establishment. People trust us, and it must be because of those spreading misinformation is why people don't trust us. No, the reason is that they don't trust the medical establishment because it was lying to them for 3 years during the vid pandemic. Absolutely. Do you feel like you trust your doctors now? I fucking don't. Like, you're just regurgitating some shit you read on a big pharma ad. Like,
No,
I don't trust them.
My bullshit radar is running overtime these days on everything, particularly when I go to the grocery store. You brought Jean-Pierre.
Oh, well, she's here to tell you we have the strongest economy in the world.
The economy has grown 12.6% under this administration, more than any presidential term in 25 years. We have gone from the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression to the strongest economy in the world. 16 million jobs created and the lowest unemployment of any administration in 50 years. And inflation has fallen to 2.4%, the same rate as right before the pandemic, with incomes up nearly $4,000. Still, we know that there is more work to do, and we'll keep fighting to lower costs and grow the middle class.
She says it doesn't mean it's true.
And there's been
what blatant fucking lies. Yeah, you brought us some.
more companies shuttering their stores, laying off, closing. More recalls than I can count I've ever had.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What's up with the recalls?
Yeah, more devastation and infrastructure destruction than I can think of. They have a weird way of cooking the books. And I think I could do a better job, frankly. But I wanted to go over this one just quickly. We do it all the time. Energy, 34% up. Gas, 38%. Fuel, oil, electricity, 30s, 24. Transportation, 31. What's the biggest ones here? Car insurance. Didn't we have this conversation last week? I ended up going with Allstate. And anybody out there that is going without, I got quoted almost $3,000 a year for car insurance.
That's
I told the lady, I said, I only drive maybe 1,200 miles. No kidding. We don't go anywhere. Well, I'm sorry. So I called up, I put it on the net. So I got a call from Allstate, got a quote, Allstate. if I keep my mileage around $2,000 a year, or 2,000 miles a year, I'm going to be paying, guess how much, Shanda?
Yeah.
$800 a year. Around
That's more reasonable than 3,000.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're checking your insurance. You can, when it's time to renew your insurance, you can do much better. I did Progressive, and 6 months was only $380. I want to say for 6 months of liability, which is
they're taking advantage of senior citizens because senior citizens tend to stick with the company that they've been with forever because they have loyalty, something that insurance companies don't even know the meaning of the word. So,
a lot of people want to have a small town insurance agent, somebody they know, somebody they can talk to, right? But that doesn't. Why pay $2,500 more, $2,200 more just so you can be on a first name basis with somebody? Bullshit.
Bullshit. And if you think Oz has had any tickets or any accidents, I haven't had anything happen in 25 years. Nothing. I don't go anywhere. Dumbass. God, it's terrible. Terrible. So moving right along, Shanda, you brought this one.
Let's see. A reminder that universal health care would take away 5% of your paycheck instead of 20% that you're currently paying. And no copays or deductibles. The U.S. healthcare system is a wealth asset grabbed by the billionaire class. It has very little to do with health or caring. Here.
And you brought Sabrina this week.
Sabby, well, of course, yesterday, European Greens came out and asked Jill Stein to pull out of the U.S. election to prevent Trump from victory. The race for the White House is too close for comfort, writes the party from around Europe, calling on Stein to throw her support behind Democrat Kamala Harris. And Sabby says European Greens want Jill Stein to drop out. The desperation is sad.
It is so sad. And then you've got one of the biggest backstabbing shills in history, Bernie Sanders. I've been all over the country last month, and I get asked the same question over and over again. I disagree with Kamala's position on the war with Gaza. How can I vote for her? Here's my answer. I didn't even bother putting it in. What I did put in was, it's funny down there in the comments, but that's a 666, another 666. So apropos, Sam Husseini said another phony who would rather vote for genocide than form a cogent thought on the process. Or
you're right. He should have just fucking retired when they pulled that shit in 2016 and gone quietly in the night. All he has done is ruin any legacy that he had. So many of us see him with the mask off for the sellout, and he bent the knee, and it's gross to watch.
If you are of a person who likes to have a carrot stuck in your nether regions, then you're going to be happy with the election results on Tuesday, because that's what's going to happen after the election. Before the election, they're going to dangle that carrot. And Shanda, you brought this, but I thought I would.
Yeah, after the election, they're going to ram it straight up your ass.
They are going to ram it up your ass. Now, you brought this. Standard time. What are we even talking about?
The debate is on about daylight savings. Now, is it tonight? Do we set our clocks back tonight
yes,
at
2 o'clock? Set it back to 1.
Fall back, right? Okay, so no permanent daylight savings would force millions to school and work in the dark from 8:30 to 9:30. So there's this big debate that Ed Markey wants permanent daylight standard time, and other people want it just to be regular standard time. Like, I know that this morning at 7:45 it was still pitch black out here. So I mean, I get why some across the country want to just keep it the way it is on daylight savings, but for us we're living in the dark on the West Coast, so I don't know.
I'm here in Lowell. It's 3:34 in the afternoon, and the sun is shining. But a week from now, when daylight saving time ends, the sun is going to begin to set at this time. We need year-round daylight saving time. We need to make sure that the hour of sunlight, of daylight, is in the evening, so that people's mouths can be turned upwards in a smile, and they can keep that daylight that just makes them feel so much better than having it earlier and earlier in the morning. So daylight saving time, we got to get it done.
I like the early evenings. It gives me a reason to be in my jammies by 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? And we really need the daylight in the morning here. So I don't know. That's my take on it. But everybody's got a different take. So remember to set your clocks back tonight at 2 a.m.
You brought our friend from TruthStream.
TruthStream, they don't get the acknowledgement that they deserve. And this was another chemical plant. This was a lithium plant that caught fucking fire. This is so scary because we see these Teslas burning on the side of the road where the firefighters can't even put them out. But this is the future of our green energy is going to be lithium, right?
Yeah.
Look how dangerous this shit is. It doesn't go away.
Toxic cloud. You want me to play this or go to the next one?
How long is it?
2 minutes.
No, you can skip it because we're kind of long in time. So go ahead and go to the next one.
I know you want to do. I know you want to do Russell Brand.
Oh yeah, let's burn Russell to the ground.
Here's Russell. It's a short clip. What the fuck? What is wrong with him?
What the fuck? Yep.
He's not actually eligible to vote, so he's not really very helpful for me. What do you want, Daddy?
Watch his hand.
He's not actually eligible to vote, so he's not really very...
The little girl like, whoa, get off me, fucker.
Does he even realize what he's doing? Or is he doped up or something?
I think he realized what he was doing. Come on, he's hung out with P. Diddy all this time. You cannot tell me this guy does not realize what he was doing.
I don't want anybody putting on...
I have told you guys for years I've had problems with Russell Brand.
Well, he sure changed his tune quick when all that shit came down.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody putting their hands on somebody else's kids.
That was just gross. It was. And obviously that little girl felt uncomfortable. And, Biden has been caught on camera doing the same shit for many, many years.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, the mindset of these rich and famous people, I can't get anymore. You brought this. This is, this is
when you're excited to try out a new TV show and the woke part inevitably comes out and turns the whole show into a lecture. Yes, I have had to quit watching mini shows because of the freaking woke freaking themes. And I'm like, I gave up on Umbrella Academy because it just got so freaking woke.
Oh, yeah. And everything's injected with some aspect of society that wasn't even necessarily needed. I think
it's not needed.
Things happen naturally, but they're making it so abrupt anymore. It's like,
it's not natural.
Why are you putting it up? It's crazy.
Even the kids, my nephew stopped by and visited with me the other day, and he was like, when we went back to school after COVID, he was like, it was like everything was woke. Everybody was using pronouns, and, it was just like, it was so uncomfortable. And I agree. The kids should be focusing on their education, not their pronouns.
Why is somebody getting shot here? What's going on?
This is a crazy story where the Minneapolis police are too afraid to arrest a guy who shot somebody.
What?
Because they might get shot by this guy.
This was a shocking moment caught on camera. Video obtained by our NBC affiliate KARE 11 shows David Matori trimming a tree outside his Minneapolis home Wednesday when, according to court documents, a bullet was fired from his neighbor's upstairs window.
The bullet went down through my neck and then all the way back to my spine.
Matori told NBC affiliate KARE 11 he's also recovering from broken ribs and a concussion. Adding, the last 11 months since he and his wife moved in, they've been living a nightmare next door to John Shawshack. Court documents show the victim called police 19 times prior to the shooting for incidents including harassment, hate speech, and verbal threats. It also says Shawshack suffers from mental illness. Shawshack has been charged with attempted murder, but he is not in jail. Police are allowing him to stay in his home because they say he's a threat to himself and others.
The likelihood of an armed, violent confrontation where we may have to use deadly force with the suspect in this case is high.
That excuse sparking community outrage.
We have
We're just not gonna go get him.
Violent criminals off the street. So I'm not a police officer. I don't know how that gets done, but I know it needs to get done.
Police say Shawshack rarely leaves his home, and the department has not set an arrest date.
We are not going to bust the door down, guns blazing, and get into a deadly force situation, but we will ensure the community will be safe.
Matori says he feels the Minneapolis Police Department failed to protect his family by not arresting his neighbor when they needed them most.
If you're saying you're scared, what does that do to me, Like, you have this body armor, you have professional training.
Dana Griffin.
Isn't that a crazy fucking story? I was like, what? The cops are too scared to go get this old man out. What? That's just crazy.
Whatever. I don't have any words. I see you bought a new pair of sneakers.
Oh, so this is Balenciaga's new, these are called reptilian trainers. Yes, pick them up. You know how much we love Balenciaga here.
Let me hit the right button. There we go. I think they look fantastic.
They're the reptilian trainers. Of course, Kim Kardashian decided to go as her true self, and that is her reptilian self for Halloween. Yes, she actually did that. That is how she dressed for Halloween.
We've been talking about this for ever since we started, right? You brought it today.
So, let me see. Not so fun facts. Monsanto's glyphosate causes every type of cancer. Independent research shows the harm to human health begins at a very low level of exposure. At 0.1 ppbs of glyphosate, many foods recently tested were found to have over 1,000 times that amount. Yep, Cheerios, Wheaties, cornflakes, Raisin Bran, Oreos, Ritz, kettle chips, Doritos, and Fritos. How scary.
Yeah, you can't eat anything. I went to our closeout store the other day, and it had a wall full of cereal, and it was all the Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops. And
I had to give up cereal.
Yeah.
I buy organic flaxseed granola at Costco, but that's the only type of cereal.
That's filling just talking about the name. Me Mally time, Chanda. It looks like you got Me Mally and I got Stoner Corner, so here we go.
I know. You've been really good on Stoner Corner lately. So did you know a barrel of oil is cheaper than a fucking bucket of chicken? Yeah, there you are.
Shit.
And somebody says there's more oil in the chicken. And me mentally preparing myself to leave the house and deal with all those bungholes out there. Yeah, it's a tough thing.
Absolutely. I did do this one. You can only bring back one to life. And I've got Epstein, James Carville, Dick Cheney, and Peanut. Which one are you going to pick? I'm going
definitely Peanut. You guys know who Peanut is. Of course, Peanut was the squirrel that got famous because he fell over dead, played dead, and put the broom over him to make it look like he was dead. The internet loved Peanut, and New York authorities went in and seized Peanut and euthanized him today, and it has broken the internet, and it's very sad, and it's a gross misuse of power, and this is government overreach.
And this is more important than babies in Gaza.
Well, yes, definitely. You know,
but it's still
America,
horrific.
Right?
You know, I'm a very, critters, don't hurt the critters. Jesus Christ.
Don't hurt the critters, yeah.
And they're doing it in Gaza. But the Babylon Bee had something to say about this. The radicalized squirrels in MAGA hats begin uprising, and I don't blame them.
Well, the MAGA people have really jumped on this story. Rest in peace, Peanut. I agree. It was very heartbreaking, and I understand why these people are beyond
I do
because
too.
I would be if you came into my house, took my animal and killed it.
You can't ignore one bad thing when there's other bad things going too. You gotta shine a light on all of them. And I will remember, I will stay with that. Don't forget about the Congo. You know, the Congo.
Yes,
I've
I know.
seen
We never
piles
talk about the
of
Congo.
bodies in Congo. It's horrific. And the United States has their dirty little hands in that too. You brought this?
The IRS when you fuck up your taxes, the IRS when they fuck up your taxes. And I thought adulting meant freedom. Turns out it's mostly just bills and being tired.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And you brought this one too. You did so well with it.
Let's see. You have to pay taxes, so they protect you from what they'll do to you if you don't pay taxes. That's how the mafia works.
You got me up there.
Posting my audience.
Yeah, that's me right there. You nailed me right there. That's me.
That's all of us. We're all so damn shadow banned. It's not even funny. Confucius says, he who wears mask alone in car also wears condom alone in bed.
That's pretty Confucius, I have to say. And this one is great. I love pajamas.
The best part of aging is realizing that pajamas are perfectly acceptable at 4 p.m. Oh, I'm in pajamas if I'm
And you know what? I've got my Christmas lights not totally lit up, but I have lamps at the end of the driveway. So I
brought this for you because I know you've been out decorating 3 days before freaking Halloween.
Well, I'm decorating that for your visit in December.
I know. You're getting ready for me to come visit.
Yes, I am. I want you to feel right at home. Anyway, this week on Tantalus TV, who wins the big Tantalus button prize? That would be NBC Universal Comcast. So if you are familiar with the old Star Trek, you know exactly what this means. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed picking out MSN bullshit.
You need a sound effect that makes it sound like they're being vaped.
I'm going to have to come up with one. You're right. It does need that. But I make a great Spock, and you are a wonderful yeoman. Marla Monroe, was it? Something like that. Gorgeous. You look good as a brunette.
I did watch the original, but I was very young.
Anyway, when your pot likes to smoke pot, and there's my first Stingray bike with a bong in the middle of it. And we've got ready for vacation, a see-through backpack, and you know what's in that. And I don't know if that's Tang in that glass or it's a tequila sunrise. I did appreciate the use of the PVC pipe there to make a bong. I never thought about that.
We used to do that.
Yeah, 10,476, 113 laughs, 0 deaths, and I think you would probably concur with that one. That's a fact, Jack. And remember when, everybody. Remember when. Remember, I like these remember wins. Remember when we had chiclets in a pack? I think they're still available. And the final Kmart. Kmart was such a big deal. It was like Walmart when I was a kid.
I know. I can still smell the popcorn and nachos and plastic.
Yeah. I didn't even know they had any left. And the last one closed last Sunday, the 20th. End of an era. Sad. No more blue light specials, everybody. All gone.
So sad. Mom school shop there every year for our son. I hated it.
More people out of work. I'm wondering. I had this too. I remember this, Shanda. Creepy crawlers. I used to make these too. They were really weird. Kids will never experience this level of excitement, and that was my mom and dad going down to the photo mart and having pictures. I'm still going through pictures, and I just. The toxicity ramifications, that's got to be up there because I know they weren't the only ones.
That's part of the instant gratification that these kids get nowadays. They don't have to wait for anything. We used to have to wait a week to see our fucking pictures,
Yeah. I'm this old. Actually, I'm older. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. It's too bad that shit that they're drinking there is pure poison.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knew? And Shanda, I know that you have used one of these vending machines in the past, as I have.
Oh, yeah.
What is that, Shanda?
Merits. I see Merits in there. I haven't seen Merits in forever. That is a cigarette vending machine.
That is a cigarette. And it's time. We have shuffled up a deck a little bit, but it is time for Shitlib Book Club recommendations. It's all downhill from here, November 5th, and I think that's an accurate depiction, just like the next accurate depiction of Miller. There's a bug up your ass to all the bugs. Do you like that one, Shanda?
He is the bug up your ass.
He is the bug up everybody's ass. And I can't wait till this administration, all their bullshit liar artists are gone. And I know we'll probably get more bullshit liars, but what the hell? It's at least it'll be something different. And I want to put extra emphasis always, and Shanda, we've been doing this ever since we started. Hollywood, go fuck yourself. Yes, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You have been horrific coming out and endorsing Harris this week. It's been awful. I mean, I won't watch reruns of any of this shit. You got this one. Is this real?
This is the Avengers. All of the Avengers came out to endorse Harris at once.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
Jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling. Assembling. Dawn, that's pretty good. No, they thought it was funny.
Scarlett, it is our pleasure to come together and to get the vote out this election. Come on.
Yeah, how can we be of service? Well, how about we start with what our voting plans are going to be, who we're going to bring to the polls with us, that sort of thing.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this?
Jesus Christ.
Off the top of my head, I can do this all day.
This is embarrassing.
Shut up. I hate it. Okay.
I mean, it's original, but...
What about something punchier like,
boom. You looking for this?
Iron Man 2, everybody loved it.
Okay, again, I think we're just trying to get out the vote.
Kamala forever.
That's better.
Okay, how about I'm down with democracy? It's just clean, it's simple.
Okay, I like that.
It's hard to argue with that.
Kamala Harris, down with democracy.
Oh, yeah. I'm Kamala Harris, and I say,
Down with democracy.
I don't know if that sounds the way we want it to sound, though.
I think we just need, can we get some production though?
Jarvis?
My name's not Jarvis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Down with democracy.
Down with democracy.
Is that what
Oh
we mean,
my
though?
God.
Yeah, together we're going to tear down democracy.
Will you stop playing heroic music under yourselves?
I'm Kamala Harris,
Wonder how much
and I
you
am
can
down
produce
with
this.
democracy. Did I sound enough like her on that one?
That was great. How many Golden Globes have you been nominated for? I'm just curious.
Yes! All right, that was awesome.
This is embarrassing as hell. This is sickening.
And I'm sure they all got paid for every one of those spots.
Well, I
was
hope they got paid for it.
torture.
That was horrible. Horrible. Horrible.
Like there is a few in Hollywood that are doing the right thing, and that would be Colin Farrell and Joaquin Phoenix. And I gotta say, I didn't know how much of a good guy Colin Farrell was until I watched an interview. You know, he's got an autistic son, or he's not autistic. He's got some kind of it's not cerebral palsy. It's worse than cerebral palsy. But he started a bunch of foundations for kids that age out and that get older that are going to need permanent care, because he's thinking about when he dies, who's going to be there for his son. And there is a few outliers in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, there are, and in all fairness, some of these people who are on both sides weren't the greatest people in the world anyway, because of their narcissism and their ego and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
But for those who are on the right side of this issue, the slaughter going on over there, I commend them, and they get a reprieve from me. And I'm not talking about James Woods. I'm talking about people like you say, Colin Farrell and things like that, because both sides have shitbags and cucks and shills working for them. I had to put this in. I think this works. Doesn't it work for you, Chanda? This, who's your Diddy? This is,
well, look, every single one of those has been out there this week endorsing her.
Every single one of them, yeah.
From Beyonce and Cardi B and is
Oprah.
Is that? And I was looking at that, but that's not Mark Ruffalo standing next to Diddy. Who is that? Yeah, J-Lo. Yeah, it's just gross. Leonardo. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
Leonardo.
is the same Diddy list that's endorsing. Exactly.
That's a heartbreaker. We want to. You brought this, Leonard Peltier.
Just an update on Leonard Peltier. He was released from the hospital yesterday. Leonard still urgently needs medical care. This is not the time to stand down. Leonard Peltier has the right to adequate medical care. We urge you to contact the State Judiciary Committee and ask that Leonard receive a medical transfer to FMC Rochester. So, I mean, this poor guy, he's been in prison his whole entire life, and he needs our support. He needs help. They should have let him out a long time ago.
Well, to finish off, Hollywood, go fuck yourself. I'm going to put up somebody that made an impression on me my entire life growing up. And I don't think she's a bad person or was ever a bad person at all. I don't think she was a narcissist. I think she was an underrated, fine actress. She entertained us. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I hope I'm right. And anyway, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Terry Garr. She was terrific. And the first time I put up where I saw her for the first time, that was Star Trek. And that was when they went back in time and screwed everything up. Yeah. She was probably 19 or 20 back then. And I fell in love with her because I was a young man, and you know, young men, what they think about.
Oh, yeah.
But Terry Garr, terrific actress, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Mr. Mom, Young Frankenstein, so many others that I just can't rattle off. So, yeah. And
I love Mr. Mom. That was good.
Yeah, and she had multiple sclerosis, right? The last few years of her life. Yeah.
She did the last few years.
Yeah. So that fucked her up too. But I always thought she was a class act, you know, and I'm going to say she makes Jennifer Lopez look terrible. Terry Garr kicked out. She entertained the hell of us, and such a comparison. I'm just so pissed at these shills going out there that I take liberties. We have got a hell of an outro tonight. I think Chanda gives me the up. Let's give everybody a quick update and blow out of here.
Okay, quick update. So Monday, I have chemotherapy for 5 hours, and then I start radiation on that day, and then I go radiation every day next week. So I am taking the whole week off. I'm not sure how I'm going to respond. I will decide probably Friday or Saturday if I'm going to do a Trailer Park Pundit next Monday. So no Trailer Park Pundit on Monday. I will be at like an 8-hour doctor's appointment. So I'm hanging in there. I have lost all my hair, and I had a pretty rough week last week. A lot of headaches, a lot of body aches, not feeling good. But, I am sucking it up and trying to fight through it. My radiation doctor called me the other day, and just the little scan that they did, they could see that the tumor is responding. The tumors are responding. They're starting to shrink. And my sodium level is in the normal range for the first time since August, which means I don't have a ton of water swelling on me. I am still taking a lot of sodium, but that tells me that something's changing for the better. So hopefully it's working. And yeah, I'm hanging in there. I appreciate all your guys' love, support. You guys helped me get a wig this week. Thank you. I appreciate it. And head wraps, because normally I just wear a scarf and a soft beanie on my head because my head gets really sore. So I appreciate your guys' love and support. The GoFundMe is down in the description box below.
Please help
it slowed
if you can.
way the heck down, but I understand we're getting close to the holidays and people get really tight. And you got to spend on your own families, and please don't give if it's going to hurt you. But if you can help out, thank you so much. And I would be so lost without you guys. You guys have carried me this whole
Yeah,
time.
and my personal thanks for my BFF here. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Shanda. I mean, this is why
I
I'm
wouldn't
here.
be doing this without you.
So, if you
taught
can
me
help
everything
her,
I know. You're the master.
Yeah, I think you've surpassed that by far. So, but yeah, if you can help her out, that would be good. Great. If you can't, we understand. We are going to go out with one of our favorites. My favorites for sure is the Hindley Country Club, and I've used just about everything they've done. But I did find a couple that I hadn't run yet, and I'm saying, what a great way to end the show tonight, because Shanda's going to be off for a while. But I wanted to bring it to you, and I kicked the outros I had planned, and I put this in, and I think it came out great. I hope you enjoy it. Good night, Shanda. I will be here with you all week, whatever you need. You can call me, and I know everybody else in the chat will too. And we love you guys, and we love you, Shanda, and you just keep up the fight. You're one of the toughest people I know. So thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night, and I hope you enjoy this outro. It's kick-ass. Kick-ass.
All right. Night. Hey, Kit.
So long ago, when I was not so strong, a greater man came to me. Never said I saw me, no, I could not run away, it seemed. We've seen each other in a dream. Seemed like he knew me. He looked right through me, yeah. Come on home, girl, it said with a smile. You don't have to love me, and let's get high. Try to understand, try to understand, try to understand. I'm a magic man. Winter nights we sang in tune, played inside the monsoon. Never think we'd never let the spell last forever. For summer love, the past to fall, try to realize it all. Mama says she's worried, growing up in a hurry, yeah. Come on home, girl, Mama cried on the phone. She's soon alone, come baby, yet my girl should be at home. But try to understand, try to understand, try to understand. He's a magic man, Mama. He's a up ahead, moving in the trees. White skin in linen, perfume on my wrist, and the full moon hangs over these dreams in the mist. These dreams go on when I close my eyes. Every second of the night, I live another life. These dreams leave when it's cold outside. Every moment I'm awake, the further I'm away. Is it cloak and dagger? Could it be spring or fall? I walk without a cut through a stained glass wall. Weaker in my eyesight, the candle in my grip, and the words I have no thorn are falling from my lips. These dreams go on when I close my eyes. Every second of the night, I live another life. These dreams asleep when it's cold outside. Every moment I'm awake, the further I'm away. There's something out there I can't resist. I need to hide away from the pain. There's something out there I can't Sweetest song is silence that I ever heard. It's funny how your feet in dreams that never touch the earth. In a world full of princess, freedom is the kiss. But the prince house is